Hi, everyone.
All right, there they are. They're all clapping for you. Real quick, just to introduce Zoom. Zoom Video Communications is a leading online conferencing provider used by many of us in this room. My company, InVision, we're 800 people. We entirely run our video communications on Zoom, and so we wouldn't exist if not for Zoom. Zoom was founded in 2011, which is not that long ago, and went public this year at a revenue run rate reported at about $500 million. They were profitable with a market cap of $16 billion. Zoom entered into an existing market, not a new market, where there were great competitors such as Google Hangouts, Skype, BlueJeans, GoToMeeting, WebEx. And in 8 years, they built a $16 billion business. So we all wish we could do that every 8 years. Let me introduce Oded. Oded is Chief Product Officer at Zoom. He runs product management. He started his career in electrical engineering in Israel and grew through the Israeli tech sector. A decade into his career, he joined WebEx as a product manager, which was later acquired by Cisco. He stayed there for about 5 years. In 2011, he moved over to BlueJeans as senior director and later VP of product. Stayed there 5 years. And then in 2016, he joined Zoom as Chief Product Officer, and he's now been there for 4 years. So some quick takeaways. Oded knows video conferencing better than just about anybody in the world. If you want to know about video conferencing, ask him. And 2 is he stays somewhere for 5 years, so he's going to be leaving in a year. And I highly recommend that you follow him wherever he goes because he has such a tremendous track record. What an amazing 8 years, Oded, for Zoom and such great business outcomes and a great product that we are experiencing just at amazing fidelity right here. Just to set some context, tell us a little bit about product at Zoom. How's the product function set up at Zoom? How many PMs? What's the PM to engineer ratio? Do you have user research, analytics? Just give us some geography.
Yes, we basically run a lean team relatively to other companies our size. And the ratio, I won't kind of say the exact ratio, but it's, I would say, considered a high ratio and a small team. And there is a reason for that. We feel strongly about creating the responsibility for each product manager to run a whole set of capabilities that can be measured. And instead of having product managers that manage features, each product manager has a clear responsibility. And we feel that you have to have that only by running a smaller team. It also allows us to really share the responsibility between the product manager and the engineer. So, the kind of product ownership is split between the two. Mm-hmm. And that also allows us to run a smaller team in that sense that a lot of the responsibility that is usually handled by product manager, which is more called program management, is actually done at Zoom via the engineering team to really make sure the product manager is focused on the priorities, the specs, the field, working with the engineers, but not kind of managing the project itself. And that's, we feel, kind of worked very well so far for us, at least at Zoom. Also, we have, in terms of the types of product managers, there are kind of 2, I would say, types that we have. One is someone who handles the core product, and then we have kind of horizontal responsibilities. So in that sense, we have the different product lines that we have. Each one has kind of a group, and then we have several product managers that are across all of them. For example, we have data analytics, we have security, and those are kind of the ones that go across the different products. But we try to kind of have a limited set of those so that the people who own the product own it kind of end to end.
What's been different about leading product at Zoom than at the other companies that you've led product at or been part of?
Well, I think that it's kind of the dream of every product manager, which is to, as much as possible, of course, it's not 100%, but avoid going back and dealing with quality issues, reliability issues, and trying to kind of go back and fix things that are already working. And I think I can talk about it in more details, but the idea is that we really have a very experienced engineering team that from day one knew what they have to do, and build a product that is solid to the point where we can really kind of focus our work in, moving forward. What are the new things that we need to do and build more products and build more capabilities to the existing product, rather than going back and worry about things that are not working. And that's really something that is a delight for any product manager. I would probably everybody will agree with me, and it's not always the case. So
who here in this room is currently going through a major replatform? It looks like about half the room is currently going through a major tech replatform. If we didn't have to do those types of things, imagine how much faster we'd all move. So let's talk about what has mattered most in Zoom's tremendous user and business growth. What would you say would have been like the 3 most important things the company got right that you would repeat at another company?
Yes. So really the first one is related to what you just mentioned, which is really getting a very experienced team of engineers that built a solid technology that can be built upon. They've sat down for about 2 years without going out to market. Some of them didn't have salaries in the first year, and just sit down and build it, knowing what they know from, a lot of them come from WebEx and built WebEx, and then joined Eric, followed him, our CEO, and built Zoom, knowing what they need to do, but with newer technology and, some, better experience on the video side. But that was the first thing. Like, the technology is really the best of the kind. And then the second aspect that is really unique for us is the culture. And everybody's saying, we have a great culture. This is the most important thing. But for us, it really comes from the top down. And Eric, the CEO, came up with this idea of, we call it delivering happiness, is the fact that we have to really create that customer satisfaction, and it comes from the top to every employee. And that's kind of leading the product, the engineers, the support, the customer success, the sales. It's all across every department. And the third one, which really did very well, is the go-to-market, which, if you think about it, is tied to the technology, because we've built this very scalable technology. In addition to being reliable, it's very cost-effective, and we could provide this new type of freemium service for conferencing that allowed people to have a full functional product. But the only limitation, if you had more than 2 people, it would kind of stop after 40 minutes. And we actually knew how to do this because we measured meetings, and we knew most meetings end after 45 minutes. So we kind of had that data to make that decision. But it turned to be very successful because it generated this viral effect that people would, join a meeting that we were invited to, and then they could easily sign for an account and use it. And there's still startup these days that don't pay because they're okay with 30 minutes of meetings, and actually they say it's better because it keeps them on their toes. So we have that go-to-market aspect. And then over time, we managed to get a great marketing team that built our brand, which is not trivial. And on top of that viral effect, we've also managed to really create a brand by using the billboards, and also
you're in every single airport I ever go to. Yeah. I'm sure we've all seen those big Zoom ads.
Yeah, you think about it. Why am I standing in line in the gate? I want to be home, right? And then you think, wow, if we had Zoom, I could have been at home now. That it really helped us promote ourselves.
What role did product have to play in the success of the company? I heard you mention sort of the top-down culture from the leadership and the founding team, mentioning the go-to-market of empowered by your great engineering and tech, the tech itself, the branding. How did product and product management skill sets contribute to the success?
I think that really the way I see our role is that bridge between customer and the field and the engineers. And it's not trivial. When I keep talking about the right and left brain, or right brain and left brain, and that you have to have that capability to be able to live in both worlds. And if you think about it this way, it's actually not everyone can do that. It's not for everyone as well, right? Because you have to be able to speak with the salesperson on one side and with the customer who has their own needs, and with the users as well, be able to understand what their needs are in a deep way, not just asking for a feature, but really understanding the problem and understanding the root cause of that problem, and then finding a solution. That's not trivial. And then on the other side, you need to convey to the engineering team in a way that they can really build something that can work. And of course, they come back to you with limitations, so you need to find the right way how to solve the problem with the limitations that you have on the technical side. And so having that right brain and left brain is really a key aspect of being a product manager. How do you find those people that really can balance those two sides?
So related to that, what do you look for when you recruit product managers? I mean, it sounds like you've had very successful, highly leveraged product managers who play this critical role in your organization. What background do you look for? Is it experiences, skills, companies, intangibles?
Yeah, so first of all, I look for passion for product, which is kind of a soft skill. That's the one side of the brain. Really, product manager role is infinite. It's kind of endless. You can sit down 24 hours and you can work all those 24 hours. If as a product manager, it's endless because there's so much to do. So you really need to have a passion. And if I try to look for that passion, for example, like if someone wants to join Zoom and they haven't signed up for a free account and played with our product, it means they don't have a passion for me. And so that's one thing I measure. And then on the other side, I try to see, if they have this ability to analyze data and think about data and how it can help them make decisions on top of the soft skills. So that allows me to, if they do both, if they have the passion and they know how to kind of deal with data, they kind of have those two sides of the brain working, and that's kind of, I start with that.
Great. We have in this room about 300 people who are choosing to talk about product on a Saturday. And so we certainly have the passion in the room, which is great. Let's talk about product functionality. There's lots of directions that you could go in, that we all could go in building our product with a limited amount of engineering resources. And I'm thinking about things that Zoom could work on: core product usability, speed, performance, more features like your core video chat, your Zoom rooms, drawing, advanced tools like rooms, Polycom integrations, APIs, hardware integrations. Which parts of your product functionality have actually really mattered the most, moved the needle? It's hard to tell from the outside, but probably some of those things have mattered more than other things in terms of either your growth or your stickiness.
Yeah, I think it's really the number one that helped us, at least in the first years, is the quality of the product. And it's a combination of multiple things. A simple UI, nothing fancy, but when you join the meeting, it always works, right? People, you ask about why Zoom, and they say it's easy to use, and then the next sentence, it just works. And that's the ease of use that we provide. The fact that it's consistent and reliable, and you can, like we did right now. We just called each other 10 minutes before the call, and it's working. It's not trivial. And that's kind of the core of Zoom, and that got us to where we are.
It's staggering how good this quality is, watching you right now. Now, maybe the audience thinks you're actually in the room next door, because you could be with that background, but I know that you're at home.
Yeah, I'm using a virtual background, so I'm actually not in San Francisco. I'm close in Palo Alto, but just wanted to represent the West Coast. But yeah, I spoke with someone when I joined early on Zoom, and I said, yeah, the best thing for us is quality. you cannot, promote a product just based on quality. That's trivial. What do you mean? It has to work. It has to be consistent. But at least in real-time communication, it's something that is not trivial to do, and created the separation between Zoom and the other products at that time.
So beyond core usability and performance, if it just works, what do you think is the next most important thing amongst the different categories you talked about?
The one that really helped us is the conference room, and how we integrated with the existing ones and how we built our own with help. So the existing one was more partnership with people like Polycom or Poly, and then when we built our own, we worked with both Poly, and we added more like Logitech that you mentioned, and that's what kind of helped us in multiple facets. So first of all, it created this support for a use case that became more and more of need. We call it the room to remote. We have people sitting in a room with several people remote, either from home or from a small office or even from the road. And this is something that was usually done with a conference phone, right? And it's so significantly more effective as a remote participant to see what's happening in the room and have the presence in the room, that what it made organizations feel they need to implement video. And it's not just nice to have video of my personal face showing in the screen. It's much bigger than that. It's the space in a room that is being shared with remote participants. It's becoming a necessity these days. And that really helped us elevate our product to be discussed at the IT department level, where they say they have a direction from their CIO or from the CEO, hey, we need a video culture, and it starts in the conference room. And that really took us to the next level, from just being maybe a small business solution to being like an enterprise level solution, where Walmart has company-wide deployment of Zoom today. And that really made a huge difference. On top of the quality, kind of got us to that first phase, and then the conference room solutions took us to really the next phase that was really significant in our growth.
Great, thank you so much for sharing that. Many of us are blazing trails in new industries. Many of us are in existing industries. The fact that you were able to go into an existing industry by focusing on one, quality, and then two, the kind of the distribution method, expanding it, and just building one of the most successful tech companies in record is just a great story we can all learn from. Everyone, I hope you can join me in thanking Oded. I'm going to turn him around here. You can see everyone. And they're all clapping. Clap, 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 clap. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.